If you're running paid ads, I'm sure you'd agree that whether you're spending $1 or $1 million on your paid ads, you want to get the most out of any dollar that you run ads with. And in this episode, I'm actually sitting down with Michael, the co-founder of Superfit Grow out in Australia. These guys are fantastic and have now helped build winning ad campaigns for hundreds, if not thousands of gyms all over the world. They do such a good job that I've literally sent all of my ad clients to them because they do better. They get more leads for the same budget, and those leads are more qualified. They're ready to take action faster because of the way they do their funnels. It's great. So I can't think of a better person to have on the show to talk about this topic than Michael or Benji, whether you're going to work with them or anybody, to be able to have really good productive conversations with the people that are running and using your ad dollars. The information in this episode is going to be extremely valuable to you. So as a reminder as well, before we get on to the show, not only am I your host of the GSD show, but I'm also the CEO of Loud Rumor, where the best gyms go to grow, where we've now helped over 3,100 gyms in over 10 countries and 56 different franchise brands. And if you want to learn more about how to work with us, again, in our mastermind level, as these guys do a great job on the ads, go to loudrumor.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you out. Okay, with that, let's get on to the episode with Michael on how to maximize your ad spend. So I wanted to dive into maximizing ad spend, and in marketing and advertising, specifically digital advertising, every dollar does count. I should say paid advertising, really, because direct mail would count for this, but every dollar counts. And when we're looking at things top of the funnel, paying just to get the attention, then we have then they click. And then after they click, then they could opt in. After they opt in, great. Now they can book, actually get on the phone with you, then book, then close, or show, then close. Then what program did they buy? Did they buy the biggest program? What ancillary sales did they buy? And then we got all the way down to the referral. So there's a long way down the road because the bank doesn't care how low your cost per lead is. They have no care. All they care about is, can you pay me? And so what that means is we have to make sure that we acquire these customers at the right cost. And we start by maximizing every dollar. Now, I want to dive into it with you, Michael, because this is something you do very well. And I notice you have your name set to Marco. Can you really quick remind everybody why your name's set to Marco? His name's Michael, but why is it set to Marco?
When we visited Austin recently from Australia, every time we'd jump into an Uber or a taxi or meet people, and I would introduce myself and say, my name is Michael. The response I'd get is always Marco. Every single time they would think my name is Marco, no matter how hard I tried to pronounce my name. So by the end of the trip, I was like, my name is Michael. And I was talking very, very slowly, and I realized I just can't pronounce my own name. So I just gave up, and I decided I'm just going to be using my alias name Marco from now on.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, well, here's a cool thing. I'm an analogy guy. If you join a gym, that is step one to being able to get in the best shape of your life. However, how can we maximize our gym experience? How many times a week are we going to go? What do we eat before and after every session? What are we doing on the days that we're not in the gym? How hard are we working out when we're in the gym? Are we taking the right supplements to complement ourselves? Are we sleeping the right amount? Because if you do all of these other external variables outside of just joining the gym correctly, you're going to get the most out of that gym and optimize every minute in the gym. Now, in the advertising world, if you just run ads on Facebook or Instagram or Google or whatever, that's like joining the gym. But everything around that can help you get the most out of running the ads. And so every minute counts in the gym, every dollar counts in ads. With that said, Marco, Michael, wherever we're going today, what are the things outside of running the ad that enough people don't pay attention to that we should probably focus on if we want to get the most out of every dollar we run ads with?
Yeah, 100%. So I'll say this very clearly to everyone out there. If you're thinking about dipping your toe in the water with paid ads, I was going to say don't do it just yet unless you've got your organic strategy, meaning that you've got to have content. You've got to, if you don't have a place to jump on and use paid ads if you don't already have a good organic content strategy. So are you posting regularly on your Instagram, your Facebook and other channels? But let's just talk about Instagram and Facebook for a moment. Are you sharing daily stories? Are you posting feeds on a regular basis? Do you have member testimonials? Are you recording those videos? Do you have content that you're sharing about you, your story, and educating consumers around why you've actually decided to start your gym or your fitness studio? What's your personal journey? What challenges did you go through to actually get to the point that you are now? Sharing those authentic stories and being really being transparent is going to resonate with people. So being able to share those that content on a regular basis and sharing your personality is so important well before you start thinking about paid ads. That content piece, user-generated content, for example, taking photos and videos of your members. And I'm a member of a group training studio here in Australia called Body Fit Training, and the members take selfies and photos. We've got the studio, the instructors, they're taking videos all the time and sharing that content and really creating that sharing that information on their channels and showing the vibe of their community. And you can actually get a lot of leads and a lot of interest well before you start paying money for advertising.
I want to address the old people listening right now. And when I say old people, I don't mean your age. I don't care if you're 20 or 100. I don't mean your age. I mean your way of thinking. By the way, if you're wondering if you're in that camp, here's how you know. Are you guilty of saying stuff like, we've always done it this way? Or, I've had 30 years of experience. I know what I'm doing. I've never had to do this. It's what we've always done. If that kind of stuff comes out of your mouth, I don't care how old you are, you're old, okay? And the problem with that mentality is that you're not adapting to the way things are going. And in a previous episode around copywriting, we talked about how, things have changed rapidly just over the last 8 years. And yes, I would say 4 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, definitely 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you didn't have to run one piece of organic content. I don't care what, you don't have to put anything up there. Just run ads. Just run ads. So if you're like, Mike, we just need to run ads, we don't need to do content. Yeah. And there may be, by the way, if you go far enough back, 5, 6 years in the GSD show, I would have said exactly that. You don't need to do organic content, just run paid ads. And that would have been true. It's not true today anymore because times change. And if you don't adapt, you die. Ask dinosaurs. That's how it works. So with that said, we've had to adapt because as of right now, the algorithm does consider certain signals and it does take into account your your organic strategy. And also for you, it allows you to learn what's working and what not working in your area for your demographic. And then you build some really good campaigns around that. So I guess let's go through the reasonings. Like, what are all the reasonings that one would want to do this?
Well, I mean, if you want to actually grow your community, you want to attract more members and generate leads and interest, then it's important to really show who you are. And to your point, we actually turn clients away that want to work with us if they don't actually have the content that we need to be able to get them the results. Look, let me share a quick example with you just to give you some context. So we're working with a client in Canada. It's an EMS personal training studio. And the reason why we're getting such incredible results with this guy is because he follows our exact framework and he does the content. We provide him the video scripts and he follows that structure and he's consistent with it. Consistency is key. There's one thing I've actually doing, but consistency doing it on a day-to-day basis is so important. So let me give you some examples in terms of his results over the last, say, 30-day period. So he generated 150 leads at $8 a lead. So he spent $1,200 in his ad budget. And he actually was able to convert 27 full-paying members with a lifetime value of $27,000 in that period of time, which is absolutely incredible. But more importantly, more important than the lead cost is what is that cost per acquisition, as you mentioned earlier on. So his CPA, his cost per acquisition, is $55 per member that has come on board. And again, why is that so low? Because he's put the work in doing those talking head videos, which means he's getting in front of camera, selfie style videos, inviting people to a function. So he's doing community events outside of his actual studio. So he's bringing people together. He does a lot of member testimonials. So he again gets in front of camera with his phone. Like, this is not fancy production here. This is literally taking his iPhone out of his pocket and then putting it in front of his face. And he's got the members standing next to him, and he's actually talking to them and having a conversation about why they joined, what their experience is like, and so on and so forth. And so because he does that on a consistent basis, not just from an organic perspective, we're able to then use that content from a paid perspective to get the results that he's been able to achieve.
That is fantastic. I love hearing stories like that. And actually, for people that are watching or listening in, if you want to see some great examples, these are clients that actually do a great job. They're in our mastermind program, but they're fitness studios here in the US that do really, really, really well with their organic strategy. They generate leads from their organic strategy. But then on top of that, they're able to obviously benefit from what you're saying, like paid ads when they run those as well. So one of them is Hodges Fitness, Hodges, Hodges. Another one is Illuminate Sweat. The other one is MTK Gym. The other one is TriFit Wellness. That's TRIFIT Wellness. Another one is The Collective Gilbert. And then the last two are The Trainer Page out in Ronkonkoma, New York, and Six Cycle, spelled the number 6 and then cycle. And they're out in Allentown. So you'll want to find them. So it's 6YCLE. So no C, 6YCLE, Allentown. These are people that I follow personally just because I really enjoy their content. And you could tell they put extra effort into it. They engage. They're getting a lot of engagement from it. I mean, the last one I gave you, Six Cycle, they just with their organic strategy alongside of their other stuff, but just with their Instagram, they only have like 1,900 followers. They had about 1,500 a few months back. Now they got 1,900. But when they had 1,500 followers, they ended up getting like 152 leads with like 60 people become members for free with zero ad spend just by doing this one technique, which I think that episode is either coming out or it already came out, but it's with Six Cycles. So you'll get to see with Jared and Emma. But these are really good pages if you guys want examples.
They're incredible examples. I've been following them too. And, paid ads simply magnifies your organic efforts. So if you don't have anything from a content perspective and you run paid ads, it's going to be challenging to get those results. But on the flip side, you're putting the right type of effort, the right type of content, you're building that community, and then you share, and then you use that content from a brand awareness level, lead generation level, you create a full funnel strategy, you're magnifying the efforts that you're putting into the first instance. I guarantee 100% of the time you're going to get incredible results. And it's the clients that we work with that don't provide us the creatives that we need. We find it challenging to get results.
Yeah. Another analogy, because I'm an analogy guy, but it's a clear one. The organic strategy is actually the real fitness. It's the hard work that actually does the work. You can get results just with that. The paid ads are the steroids. It will just amplify what you're doing. But if you're not working out and you're just doing steroids, you'll get a little action, but in reality, it's not. You're just one big bloated guy. Just a lot of money spent, a lot of leads that aren't really doing anything. And but when you do the both together, when you have a really, really great content strategy and you amplify it with ads, I mean, these are the people that are crushing it in the space right now. Great. Okay. So organic strategy. What are some other ways to maximize every dollar spent on paid ads?
Beautiful. So we've got the content that we need, great, and then we're deciding to jump into ads. Fantastic. What the biggest mistake that I see a typical gym owner will do is they're going to just jump right in, write some generic copy with maybe an okay offer, and they're going to just go straight for the kill. They're going to go put that offer out in the market and hope it's just going to generate some leads. From a lead generation perspective. So you put lead form, offer, we would just want to get some leads. No real strategy, no sort of thought behind the process. And that's something that, look, if you don't have the experience, we see that all the time. But what we also recommend, what we do with our clients, is we put a full funnel strategy in place, meaning we have a clear brand awareness and lead generation system going from a top of funnel to a bottom of funnel approach. Why is that important? Well, because think about your CPMs, your cost per 1,000 impressions. And I've got an example here for you. So you can get 3 times of the exposure of your ads with the same budget. So your cost per 1,000 impressions can be $4, right, from a brand awareness level versus $12 at a lead generation level. So you want to share those videos, that content that you're already doing in your studio, and you want to share it with as many people as possible. It's thinking about casting a really wide net with your budget, and then you're bringing people and prospects into your sphere of influence, your ecosystem, and they've engaged and they've consumed your content. And only then, once they've engaged that content at a brand awareness level, you can start retargeting to those people, the warmer audience, with an offer, because they've seen you multiple times. And remember, it can take 15, 16, even 20 touch points to really remind people that you're there, because people are getting bombarded with so many ads left, right, and center every day of the week. And so if you're not having that strategy in place, again, you're getting lost in the crowd.
Yeah, that extra step is one of the things that separates you guys. Because I feel like everyone, and I was guilty of this too, but everyone really just focuses on that one step of the funnel. Just cold audience, nobody knows who I am. Here's a free week. Here's a 6-month challenge or 6-week challenge or whatever it is. It's the same thing. But there's a very big difference between selling somebody that's familiar with you and selling somebody that, you don't know and they don't know you. And so I love that you have that. Obviously, that's definitely one of the reasons you guys are able to generate such a lower cost per lead. One that honestly, you don't really hear much about anymore, that $6 to $12. I know some of them are $15, $20. I get that, but I know where your average is at. I know you get some that are under 6, but that's a big part of it, is that extra step in the funnel that frankly, a lot of agencies are either too lazy, too uneducated, or not resourced enough to be able to do. You guys have really set a good system for that. So good work. All right. You have something else to that?
And part of that, another way of thinking about it is building a relationship. So again, we previously talked in a previous episode about creating that emotional connection. So this is a way that you can build a relationship with your ideal prospects. So when they've seen you multiple times, they understand who you are, they already understand your USP, your unique selling proposition, how you're different in the marketplace. They're getting to know you as an owner of the business or a manager of the studio. And when they finally see that offer, they're going to grab that offer. And then when you finally actually contact that person, because they've seen you so many times, in a way, they already know you. There's already that relationship and trust being built. So it's not just to get a low cost per lead. We want to get a good quality lead, and that quality means because you've already built a rapport and a relationship with your ideal prospect.
I love that. Love that. Okay, so we got making sure that we've got organic content. We've got making sure that we add some layers. What else? What else can we do to maximize every dollar?
Absolutely. We want to squeeze the juice out of every single lead. So this is where most gym owners sort of fall short, is with generating leads. You're paying your hard-earned money for those leads, and you might be paying $10, $15, $20 a lead. But what happens? Generally speaking, we might only contact 15, 20%, 30% of those leads if we're lucky. And what happens to the other 70%? That's just wasted money, and those leads go cold very, very quickly. So what are some of the solutions? Well, obviously we know we need to be contacting those leads within the first 5 minutes. Makes an enormous difference. So having the right tools to be able to do so is integral. So where do we send those leads? Ideally, we're sending those leads to a marketing software, a CRM, where we can actually engage those leads within the first 5 minutes with a text message, asking about why they reached out and what are their main health and fitness goals. So again, asking a question in order to actually build a relationship with those prospects. And again, not doing the hard sell too early. and having a long text message with a link. It's too salesy. If they're ready to buy, and we know that only 3% of prospects are ready to make a decision about their health and fitness when they've seen your brand the first time. 97% need to be nurtured. They might take time. It could take a week, 2 weeks, and we often see it can be up to 6 weeks or even months for a person to make a decision around what studio they would like to join. Even for me, when I was joining the group training studio here in Melbourne, and I'm into health and fitness, I'm a runner, so I'm the right type of person, and I was still shopping around. I was shopping around different studios, different pricing, and so it took me probably a couple of weeks to make a decision around what I would like to choose. I went a couple of 24/7 fitness, 24/7 big box gyms. I experimented, I had a look around, did some trials. So it doesn't happen overnight. So going back to the nurturing process mentioned earlier, when that lead comes in, we want to engage that lead within the first 5 minutes and really just ask around why they reached out. What are their main health and fitness goals? In addition, nurturing that prospect with an email series. So let's say a 12-part series over the course of 2 to 4 weeks with some added value and education about your brand, but also more importantly about them, about the consumer. Again, going into the avatar's psyche and understanding what their pains, what their problems that they're facing, and again, linking those pains to your solution and how you can actually support that prospect. So that email nurture series over a course of 3 to 4 weeks.
Love that. Love that. Okay, cool. So we got organic content, layers, ask questions, email nurture series. Anything else?
Well, I mean, if you use the right type of software, we do have a software at Superfit Grow called FitGrow AI, and actually using conversation AI. So using an AI tool to actually support you through that process, because we know everyone's very busy doing a lot of things, and you can't follow up on your leads 24/7. So to be able to have an AI supportive tool within your software can be very beneficial, because again, you can reach that prospect within the first 5 minutes, and then you can also qualify that prospect through the process. So again, asking them why they reached out, what are their challenges, what are their goals, are they open to getting support is a really good qualification process before rushing into booking them into a trial. So seeing if they're open for support, and then getting them to book, asking them to book in for that initial trial class or experience. And that can help you engage the prospect 24/7, even while you sleep.
Yeah, agreed. So really quick, for everybody listening in, it doesn't matter what your cost per lead is. It matters how much your cost per acquisition is. And I know I say it a lot. I say it probably in every episode, and that's because it's that important. And I'm going to keep saying it. So be prepared. You're going to keep being reminded of this, because if you already know it, I don't want you to forget it. And if you don't know it, I want you to realize how important it is. In fact, if you guys want, I made a whole training on the importance of these two metrics, and these are the two most important metrics when running marketing: is your LTV and your CAC, lifetime value, and your customer acquisition costs. So if you go to loudrumor.com/LTV-CAC, it'll take you directly to the training. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. Just enjoy. But the other thing that I think is important is, okay, so we got leads in. Let's say it's 100 leads. I have Laurel, who's been on the podcast before, Laurel Roach. She's of TriFit Wellness. I mentioned her earlier in the episode. And she and I are actually partners in another business together, a gym, actually, technically like 6 gyms. And, she was talking to me about this one fitness studio that she wanted to join herself. That's right by her house, because the gym that she owns is nowhere near her house, right? So she wanted to join a gym by her house. And she told me how she went on the website and she couldn't figure out where to opt in or what to do. It was a little confusing. So she called the number. I mean, what a great lead so far. Call the number. Most people won't get this far. Already, she's made your life easier than she needed to. You could have lost her, and you probably have lost people like her. So she called the studio, and the studio kept redirecting her back to the site and just say, if you look harder, you'll find it. Now, this is probably the same person that when the owner asks, hey, how come we're not getting any members? They're going to say the leads suck, Or they're going to say, yeah, it's just harder right now. Like people really aren't answering or people don't want to come in. This is the same person, by the way. And I know this because when we were doing our agency, we had call tracking and we would listen to the calls. I'll tell you, 8 out of 10 gyms we worked with, the owners had no idea how many leads were being wasted by their staff. And the staff was just reporting up the leads aren't good. The staff was just reporting up people aren't coming in. I'm doing everything you say. I let the owners listen to the calls and they just want to strangle their staff because they're not running the plays, right? They're not doing what they're supposed to do. So make sure if you're not doing a shopping technique, shop your own gym. Have a friend of yours, somebody you know, actually go through the entire sales process, even coming in as a guest, and let them know, hey, ahead of time, these are the steps they should be taking you through. Let me know what parts they missed. And as they go through, then you can recap, did they do this? Did they do that? You'll be surprised to find that your staff may not be running the plays and you're taking your word for it that the leads aren't that good. And the last piece I'll say is, if let's say you paid $200 to get this member at the end of the day, when you go, okay, I spent $2,000 on ads, all in, agency cost, whatever, spent $2,000 and easy math. Let's say I got 10 members. Great. So you spent $200 to acquire that member. How do we make it so that we can cut it in half? Well, sure, we could ask the agency to cut the lead cost in half. We could, and then we pray and we hope that they actually get it done. What we could also do is get twice as many members from that same amount of leads. You could do that by either A, improving the contact rate by following up more often. You can do that by improving the book rate by getting more of the leads that you actually talk to book by having a better script. The show rate by doing certain things in that call and collecting credit card at the point of sale or at the point of booking. You could also do that by booking another person on that call, meaning, Michael, while I'm scheduling you, I could say, hey, just so you know, that time slot that you chose at 4:00, that's one of the most popular time slots. I'm not even sure why we even have spots open. It usually is pretty stacked, but it's a really good spot. There's even a second spot open. So if you have somebody that you know that would want to join you, I would recommend you bring them. It's a blast. This is like probably one of the best classes. So who do you know you would like to bring with you? We can have them come in for free as well. That alone, are you going to go 10 for 10? No, you're not. But you go 1 or 2 for 10, maybe 3. And that's better than going 0 for 10, which is what you'd get if you didn't ask that, right? And so that is another way to increase your amount of closes per the leads that you got through digital. And then lastly, when you close them, well, your close rate, so make sure you have a better close rate. But then when you close them, how many referrals did you get at the point of sale? Now, it's crazy that when I talk to gyms, I go, how many referrals or how many sales did you get last month? They go, we got 12 new members. How many referrals did you get from those members? None. You should have gotten 36 or more. But you're not, because you're not doing the easiest, lowest hanging fruit, which is asking right at the point of sale. By the way, if you guys don't know what to do with that, go to loudrumor.com/POS. That does not stand for piece of shit. It stands for point of sale. And that is going to be a training on how you can get referrals 3 to 5. Some members that we work with get 7 to 10 referrals at the point of every sale that you make. Now, think about that. Michael, if you paid $2,000 and you got 10 members out of that, but out of those 10 members, you got 30 referrals, and from those 30 referrals, you signed up another 10 members, which that's good math. That's what we typically see. You technically got 20 members from that same campaign that you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't run that campaign. So now your $200 cost to acquire those 10 members, now that you got 20 members, technically you paid $100 to acquire those members because you got 20 members out of the same $2,000 ad spend, but we're not done. Those 10 members that you got, you're going to get 30 referrals from. And then those are going to get you 10 more members that you get 30 referrals from. And when you do that, little by little, that $2,000 took you so dang far to where you're in the single digits at customer acquisition cost. And that's how you're achieving great numbers. That's how the best are the best. What we say all the time here is amateurs add, professionals multiply. Don't add members, multiply them. You've already gotten 10. Now multiply the crap out of that instead of just hoping next month maybe it's 12 or 15. Make it yourself. It's incredible. So far, so good, Michael?
Why do you think, Mike, then people don't ask? Why do people don't ask for referrals? What's the barrier?
Ego. So now they're not going to tell you that. They're going to think it's humility. Sometimes ego disguises humility, and humility is disguised as ego. I'll tell you what I mean by that. The person that at a conference that has a question that doesn't want to raise their hand, that looks like humility. I don't want to raise my hand, let other people get the spotlight, but it's ego. Because I don't know if I'm asking a good question. And basically, ego is, I care about what you think of me. That's what ego is. So when you say, I don't want to bother someone, what you're really saying is, I don't want to be the person that bothers someone. I don't want you to see me as bothersome. That's really what you're saying. Some people don't fire people that should be fired. And they think it's, I don't want them to not have a job. No, it's not that. You know they shouldn't work here. You know it's not a good fit. And you know they're not going to grow in this organization to where they want to grow. You don't want to be in that uncomfortable situation where you let them go. That's really what it is. It's your ego. So the point is, I just sold this member. And I feel greedy asking for more after they gave me their business.
Exactly.
And I don't want to feel greedy. I don't want you to see me as greedy. My ego's worried about that. Right now, you like me. I like that you like me. You just signed up. I don't want to ruin it. You like me right now. This is amazing. But the truth is, don't make it about you. I get it. You framed it as referral. But in reality, the way we should be framing it as, hey, man, thank you so much for joining. I got some extra gifts for you if you like. Because you're a member with us, we want to help you. Your family's our family now. Our family's your family. So I want to give you 5 passes that you're going to be able to give to 5 people. But that's something that we do as a first day special. So here's this sheet right here. Do you see it? Yes. Okay. So get out your phone real quick. They get out their phone. You say, awesome. Open up your contacts. You got it? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go to the back and get your gift basket that's just for you, or your gift bag or whatever. The reason you want to walk away is because it's awkward as hell to have somebody like standing there while you're going through your phone thinking of 5 people to write down on that list, right? When you walk away, the pressure's gone. So you say, okay, take your phone out. I'm going to go to the back and I'm going to get your gift bag. When I come back, I want to see 5 people on this that you're going to give it to, because you're not going to have another chance at this, okay? So make sure you have 5, not 4. How many? 5. 5, that's right. Okay, I'll be right back. So now you go. Now you got the law of reciprocity coming in. They're coming back with a gift. I've got to have something for them. And so now you put down the names. It shows name, email, phone number. When they come back, you say, hey, now if there's only 3 on there, hey, there's only 3 on here. How many did we say? 5. Okay, so who else we have? I don't really have anybody else. Okay, but if you did, who would they be? And they'll give it to you. And if not, you say, you coach them. Coworkers, friends, neighbors, brothers, sister, cousin, mom, dad. Oh, yeah, you know what? My mom would probably want to come with me. There you go. Put your mom down. Let's go. Get your mom in here, right? So when you do that, you get more. Now, you're not always going to get 3 to 5. Sometimes you get 1, but sometimes you get 10. That's pretty cool. The average you want to be at is around 2 to 3. If you get between 2 to 3, you're pretty good. Cool?
If you're doing all those things and your lead cost is $20, $25, suddenly it's not such a bad thing, because you're really making the most out of every single member that walks in the door.
Exactly. I mean, some of the best people we work with, they've been working with the same ad, and they could probably should switch, but they don't even care. They're getting $50, $60 cost per leads, but they don't care, because at the end of it, they're paying like $14 or $10 cost per lead, because they're getting so many leads from the initial leads that instigated everything that comes after. That wouldn't have happened if they didn't pay $50 to $60 to buy that first lead that started it all.
Free leads. We love that.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So all in all, I mean, you talked about the case studies you got. The people that you're seeing that are getting the most out of this, whether they're paying $3 a lead or $15 a lead, whatever it is, are they doing most of these things, some of these things, more than these things? What are you seeing?
Yeah. Like if I go back to that original example that was shared earlier on with that EMS studio in Canada, they're doing all of the above. So they've got a great organic strategy. They've got a full funnel strategy on with brand awareness and lead generation with their paid ad campaign. They've set up their software, so they're following up on every single lead. Their contact rate actually on those leads is greater than 50%, which is fantastic. So they're talking to more people. They've got the AI to engage those prospects to help them follow up and nurture those leads 24/7. They're tracking their data, so they're following up. They're tracking their data on the CRM as well, and of course they're asking for referrals when they sign up members. So all of the above, which is why their cost per acquisition is so low.
I love that. I love that. Well, for everybody that tuned in today, I hope you put more emphasis. I mean, yeah, look, no doubt the easiest thing that you can do is just go from agency to agency to agency until you find one that meets you at the cost per lead. That would be so low that even if you sucked at the sales process and you sucked at everything else, you would still do okay because the agency works so hard to be so good to be able to offset your weaknesses. Or you can strengthen the areas that might be weak in your process so that it's reversed, meaning regardless of which ad agency you work with, you're going to hit the target that you need to hit because you're so good in all the areas, you could miss that one. Now, if you get them all checked by working with the right ad agency, plus you get it all down, you hit the holy grail. So hope you got value out of this episode. Michael, thank you so much for coming on board. I like having you. I'm going to keep having you on, by the way, because this is actually really, really good content. I know it's Marco. Marco's your nickname. Should I just call you Marco? But yeah, I'm going to keep having you on because I think it's helpful to get your perspective, and you got so much, so many case studies that we can leverage in order to really see what's working, what's not working. I think what people need now more than ever is proof of what's really working in the industry right now, because so much is changing that if we just go by like what I think could be working or what I think might work, that's not really as good as like, hey, here's what's working across hundreds of gyms across the country right now actively that are testing these different things. So for everybody tuning in, thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you next time.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for having me.